Wellington City Council have just launched the Street Innovations Challenge cycleway separation competition, which is essentially, we're looking for designs for a new form of cycleway separation that is safe, blah 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 blah, with an aesthetic that speaks to the Wellington context, whatever that means. But WCC will take the winning design to work with local manufacturers to produce a prototype. So currently there's 3 options used in Wellington for lane separation. First of all, we've got flexi bollards, which are these things where it's basically the same as this one, but they've got these plastic poles that are sticking out the top of them. But yeah, these are both sort of plastic strips which are bolted to the road surface. And then the last kind is this with a concrete separator or hard separator, which essentially adds an extra strip of pavement between the cars and the cycle lane. So I could, talk about some of this, like the width of this lane here. So it says these options improve safety and some comfort for cyclists, discourage motorists from entering the facilities, and offer flexibility in design and installation. However, they have some limitations. Well, I'd say it's kind of debatable if some of these improve safety or not. Like it's, these bollards do take out cyclists. But anyway, flexi bollards are often hit and broken by vehicles, easily vandalized, requiring replacement. Yet ground separators with gaps do not prohibit cars from parking over them or in bike lanes. Yet none of these options provide wider street benefits such as visual interest or local identity. So let's just read that last one again. None of these options provide wider street benefits. So, like, no one's widening any streets here. So I guess that's some kind of figuratively wider street, such as visual interest or local identity. So yeah, it sounds like the issue is these are too boring looking and they don't have some kind of Wellington or New Zealand related branding identity on them. Basically the same as this, but windy Wellington on it, or I don't know, Kia Tōpatoa or something like that. So your task is to design protection elements to separate cycleways from vehicle lanes. The protection elements must be easily securely fastened to the road surface, flexible for use in different scenarios, able to be adapted without creating significant damage to the road surface. So essentially, just about anything that bolts to the road surface like this would meet those criteria. Like that's really not anything. The separator should bring other benefits to a Wellington streetscape in terms of visual interest, branding, or local identity, while ensuring that it is high quality, durable, and low maintenance. Saying flexi bollards are no good. These ones with gaps are no good. So we need some kind of continuous bolt down line separator like this, but without the gaps. So first up, I think we should consider why a lane like this one has gaps. So if you're cycling in this lane here, I'm gesturing at the screen now so you can't see what I'm pointing at, but you want to turn to the right across the lane. Say the blue cyclist needs to turn right across the lane. I mean, I don't know if there's much to access there, but the gaps allow someone to enter and leave the lane easily at any point, or within a few meters of any point. A continuous rail approach would make it so the lane isn't usable like that, or at least not for a lot of cyclists that aren't confident to ride over some kind of hump or curb. The gaps also allow emergency service vehicles to park easily if needed, and for other situations that are more important than having a cycle lane, or you could say more important than having a car lane too. But when the cycle lane is the lane that's on the left-hand edge of the road, then that's the lane that needs to be sacrificed, to park emergency vehicles, service vehicles, that kind of thing. So yeah, having a continuous rail that isn't easily mounted by vehicles is probably just going to mean a design where contractors have to come out and take the lane apart every single time a maintenance vehicle needs to do work, like trimming the hedge. It could also cause issues with keeping the cycle lane clear. Road sweep, these lane separators, one major issue is that they tend to preclude the easy cleaning of the lane by normal road sweeping vehicles. So really, what would be cool, would be for someone to design a solution that's like out of the box from these three, that's some kind of superior idea or concept, but that doesn't really exist that I'm aware of, or if it does, it's probably already used in Germany or Denmark or the Netherlands. I don't think Netherlands tends to use on-road cycle lanes like this much, yeah, so there's very limited room for innovation in the design of the actual separator unit. Really what we're looking at is for people to do some kind of art design supposedly about Wellington, but it could be anything that the council likes the sound of. Yeah, let's look at the judging criteria: safety and comfort, flexibility of use, durability, aesthetic and feasibility are the criteria. So looking at these, the biggest of these are safety and comfort, flexibility and durability. But like I say, just by using what are essentially existing designs, perhaps with a tweak in the materials, or any kind of minor tweak, then it'll be possible to satisfy all of these criteria to a very high level, to the point that any solid entry should score highly in all of them. And we could say that about the feasibility too, because unless the aesthetic criteria response is to have the the separator's gold plated, then I don't think the aesthetics is going to be a huge factor in how cost effective they are. So yeah, essentially it seems this competition is just going to be coming down to aesthetics. You know, it just really seems like an art competition to me, to design, something like this sort of pattern on the ground here, but in separators. Probably like have it, using some kind of LED or reflective illumination would be obvious things to put in there. But yeah, anyway, so entry requirements. They reserve the right to vary or cancel the challenge at any time. So yeah, you could do a bunch of work on this and then they pull the plug. So yeah, it's judged by a panel. Wellington City Council staff are not eligible to enter, so that's one thing at least. There was me thinking that so here we get to a rule that is quite important. It says you confirm that each design you suggest, including each element of each design, is A, an original work made by you and no one else, except to the extent you disclose otherwise under clause 26. B, not copied, and C, not illegal, offensive or derogatory. I like to think up some good illegal or offensive cycle lane separation designs, but it sounds like they wouldn't appreciate it up there at the council. So they're looking for a completely original cycle lane separator design that's not like any of these, or this one here. I'm not sure how possible that is. It seems like it could be the case where, pretty much any design that got submitted, they could class as copied and disqualify shape and format of a cycle lane separator. And any sort of design is going to be building off the fundamental sort of unit of something like this, or in a different shape. Forget the bollards coming out of it. It might be a completely different shape, but it's still a linear thing that's laid along the ground. So yeah, that rule seems to need some clarification about what originality exactly they're looking for, and if this is just related to aesthetic elements or not. The selection of the winners is at the sole discretion of the panel. Selection of the winners is final, and correspondence regarding selection of the winners will not be entered into. Yeah, so they can choose their mates to win if they want, and there's no comeback from anyone. Or, any other kind of dodgy selection process they can go into, and there's no comebacks. And I think also it's worth noting, number 15, you agree to provide the panel or the council with any information about yourself, group members, or your design that the panel or the council reasonably requests for the purpose of understanding how your design is developed. So that essentially means if you don't believe the judging criteria is neutral, and or they likely discriminate against you for some reason, like say you don't get on with one of the panel members, or you've disagreed with them online or anything really. If you enter anonymously, you have to agree to give up that anonymity or be disqualified from the competition. Yeah, so this point here, 23, it says you grant the council an irrevocable, royalty-free, worldwide, perpetual, sub-licensable license. Wow, sounds great. To use, copy, modify, adapt and or publish your design for any purposes the council sees fit. But then it gives qualifier in relation to the design of cycleway infrastructure in Wellington. Like, why? How could they need any kind of license that's worldwide for cycleway infrastructure in Wellington? And for any purposes the council sees fit in relation to the design of cycleway infrastructure in Wellington could be interpreted to, you know, be anything to do with cycleway infrastructure, really. So it's really you're just signing away your design, the IP rights to use your design to the council. And the council is allowed to alter or amend your design, merge or combine your design with any other design, or use elements of your design in another design. So yeah, they don't need to use your design at all. They can just use an aspect of it that they like doesn't have to choose a complete winning design. They can choose a design where they like one aspect of it to win, because they can just use that single aspect merged with another design or an existing design like this. So all in all, this competition, it really just seems like the council's putting on an art competition with $10,000 of prizes, and the criteria and how it's going to be awarded seem ripe for abuse, with just a closed panel judging it. What this is about is giving the impression that you're listening to people about cycle lanes and how they're designed, when really all you're doing is running an art competition for the aesthetic design of future lane separators.